Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Boyan Petreski. Today is September 27, 2022. This is the Futures Trading Live session for today. And this will be an extra special session because it will be the first future session that we're doing with the brand new platform that we are supporting right now, which is NinjaTrader. Just want to double check. Okay, sound is good. Looks like everything's good across the board here. So let's go ahead and get started. So, welcome everybody that's joining me live. For those of you watching this recorded, thank you for spending the time to take a look at our session recorded and spending some time to get to improve your skills when it comes to trading. Before I let you go, as you see down here at the bottom, we have a little bit of a. Oh, sorry about that. Just wanted to see here. We have a little ticker going on. If you see that, that's for our book that has been published on Amazon and other multiple places. So definitely check it out. Mystery to Mastery series, the very first one, designated as the #1 release in 3 categories. So take a look at that. This is particularly and specifically for FOREX. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started with the session for today. So let's go ahead and get this ball rolling. All right. In case you're scared or surprised or just overwhelmed, don't be. This is what our new workspace is going to be looking like when it comes to trading futures. We'll be using this, and then we have made several improvements across the board here. Certain improvements that just make it easier for us to decide which way we're going, which way we're looking to go, and where those targets are. On top of that, some additional information that is available on the auto climate side, which is down here below. So these have been discussed in multiple sessions that we've had before, where we're going over the features, the new features that are happening with this with the software. But we'll be putting them into practice right now today. So first things first, something that's also on my other screen, which you could also have on this screen if you wanted to, you'll just have to end up minimizing it, is we have our market analyzer. Our market analyzer is that powerful tool that gives us the overview, the overlook of how things are looking on the couple of markets that we're looking at to trade. As you see, we do have an auto climate count, and interestingly enough, these are all now early climates. They ended up just switching over because if you didn't catch it in the earlier few seconds here, the markets, as they were pulling up, they just ended up pushing down fairly quickly, and just like that, we had an update on the climate 4 minutes ago. So it looks like we do have something that's near the EMA, which is NQ. So let's go ahead and take a look at NQ first. So the way it works with these guys is you can either go on the drop down menu here and you see NQ 1222, and that's going to change things right here. We got to go to the NQ charts as well, and just like that, everywhere we have NQ loading up. A couple of things that we need to take into account, right? On the left side in gray is our auto climate related windows. That's what these these two sections here are giving us, which is, I feel like it's a very powerful additional information that you need to. Oops, and I'm sorry. There we go. Let's just get this. There we go. And so you can see that this bottom chart and this chart on the left here are the auto climates. Now, if this gets a little too confusing, that's mainly because the way we're going to be looking at targets from now on is we need to understand that even though there are some filled UFOs in that area, they are also important and we need to take account for them. So as of right now, we see that the NQ is selling off. And to make things more powerful with this brand new platform that we're using, we can see that there's right here in yellow is actually the 9 exponential moving average, right? That's the common indicator on the common time frame that we utilize. That's the price for that. It's also shown on the other time frames that we have, so it's that much easier to line up a trade. And in this scenario, we do see that the moving average is in fact lining up with this UFO up here. Therefore, we do have a trade, and we see that this trade is at 1148.75. So we can either use the DOM to set up a trade, or we can also use Chart Trader for this scenario. I'm just going to go ahead and set it up on the Chart Trader. So 78.75 is going to be the short right there. Now, if you want to visually see it, of course, you can enable the Chart Trader if you want to, which is done right here. Chart Trader, you just have to select the account that you want to use, and that'll be shown there. It can also be a hidden one, so you don't have to worry about that. But there is our order right now. As you see, it's lining up perfectly with the auto UFO there. Now, one thing that we need to mention is the fact that we are currently in a filled UFO, on this auto climate. Therefore, where will our final target be? That's going to be all the way down here at the first opposing, also filled UFO, and that's going to be at this 11 40. 11, I'm sorry, 11 420, 11 425 area. So let's see if we're going to get a fill on our trade here. And then we'll go from there, so we can set up our profit and our stops as soon as it fills. Right now, I do have it already set to two targets, basically, which is T1 and T2, the same that we did before, the typical setup. Okay. So now just trying to see if this will fill or not. It's looking like it's coming fairly close. Just a few ticks here and there, just a couple points actually on the Nasdaq here. On the smaller time frames right here, we do see this bounce happening, and we still have quite a few UFOs there as well. Okay. Interestingly enough, right as it filled, I just realized that this ended up turning the climate right as it's pushing up right now. So as you see, the climate is in fact a unconfirmed as this push happened. So this would not have been a valid trade. If you got in, you got filled, and obviously, I didn't end up changing my stops here just because this was not a valid trade anymore. So that would have been closed that market anyway. But I'm still going to take a screenshot of this because, again, things happen, and it is what it is. 2022 0927. We have NQ setup. Exit, small loss, change of climate, and it was negative 177. Okay, so yeah, the climate was actually unconfirmed. Therefore, this, if you didn't get filled on this, or if you didn't take this trade, then that's okay. This climate was not confirmed. Therefore, we were not supposed to be taking this trade. Now, let's take a look and see if any one of these is in fact a confirmed climate. Let me just see here. This should be right here. Okay. All right. Looks like, yeah, no confirmation there as well. Let's take a look at the ES. Just gonna switch to these here down below, and then on that drop down menu, head to the ES. it is. All right. The ES is in fact a confirmed down climate. It is also near the EMA. And let's see what we got going on for the ES right here. So right now it's pushing up. The as you see, the moving average at 37.15, which is, I find this beautiful to use. Unfortunately for us, there are um, there are no UFOs that are going to come close by, and this is the beauty that sometimes it's hard to visualize, right? I don't have as much of an issue visualizing it because, again, a moving average moves, right? Even though it's a number that we see on the chart here, 37, 50, 41, this number goes, right, with the price movement. So right now, given the fact that we have the moving average displayed here, here, and here, it's a lot easier to visualize thinking, well, is this going to make it? Is this going to, come close to it? As we see, price is coming fairly close to 37.15, but that's not close enough to execute on this 37.17 location. Okay, so that's something that you need to take into account, that there are certain um, abilities that this platform has, the certain capabilities rather, that we've plugged into our software, that makes it that much easier and that much more visual to be able to take trades and determine if it makes sense or not. All right, so this one we're gonna skip out for a little bit just because we are not gonna be close to those UFOs if it were to pop. So let's go ahead and switch out to the Dow. And as you see here, we do have the Dow on these workspaces here. Okay, very similar situation, except on the Dow, we do have a trade. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. So 29,621 for the short. And what I like about this is when your cursor is on the super dom, it's actually frozen. If you move it away, then it gets recentered again. But 621 is our short. So let's go ahead and put that limit there. I'm just going to enable chart trading hidden here as well, just so we can see the trade. Okay. Oh, I didn't click it on. That's what it was. Okay. And we have this guy. And then we're going to do hidden, just so we can see it across the board there. A few ticks away. And then I want to make sure I move my stops and T1 and T2 as soon as they fill. All right, just gotta change this here, and then chart trader hidden, so that way we can see them. And again, this is also a very visual platform. Once this fills, you can actually just click and drop your T1s and T2s. Obviously, in this scenario, we see that both the UFOs are at 29,641. Therefore, we just need to move the stop to 29,642 to be able to get in on this. And of course, our final target is way down there at 29,510. So let's go ahead and see if this will fill and move our stops accordingly, our T1s accordingly. Right. I do have an ATM strategy already in here. It's just a very basic, just to kind of get some stuff in there rather than what it's actually going to be. It's a 20 to 20 T1 with a stop and a 40 with 20 on the second leg. 40 ticks to 20 ticks. So it's just something to get the targets on the chart so that I can then utilize them to slide them to where they need to go. All right. How are we looking on 6/16? So we got another 14 minutes to go before the market open. It will be great if we can get in this trade before the market opens and get our T1. That's, I've said that many times before. it's one of those things where we ultimately like to see. All right, let me just go ahead. YM. This is a 50-minute setup. All right, come on. A few more ticks coming close. A tick away. A tick away. There we go. All right, so there we go. As you see, it just showed up now. And usually there we go. So what we end up doing is just clicking on this and just dragging it to that 642 right there. And boom, you're adjusted. You're all set. T1 obviously has to be whatever the difference is between the two. So we got 642 minus 626. We're looking at 16 ticks, right? Minus 620. Sorry, 642 minus 621. 21 ticks. That's why I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Minus, we're looking at 600 even for the T1 right here. All right, now for our final target, we said all the way down here around the 511 area. That's the first opposing ring of this filled UFO. So 511 down below. Just click on that, drag it down, done deal. All right, so now that I have the whole thing set up, I'm just gonna take a quick screenshot as well that this is when we filled. And we go from there. And, of course, if it comes to that, we're going to have to do our typical count that we do if we don't get a T1 or a T2. I doubt that that's going to be the case here, but, you never know. So just kind of zooming in a little bit here on this one, we're going to throw a vertical line to know that this is the line that we got filled. All right, and then we're gonna, I think it was just control, I can throw another one. This will be kind of like where we got filled. But that's the candle that we got filled on. That's the first one rather of the fill. Now what we need to see is if this will in fact move forward and give us our T1, or if it's going to stop out. Either is fine as long as we get it. Looks like we're coming fairly close to the T1 here. Okay, and pushing back up again. Came pretty close to it. But back at the 606 area. And yep, just wait for this to play out and see where we go. So how is everybody following along so far? Does it seem like a bit much? Does it seem like it's easy to follow? I mean, just like any software or anything out there, it's just a matter of getting used to it. It's not really any different than just giving it a go and then working with it as you move along with trading. Certain new things will develop, certain new things will be available, and obviously us as human beings, we're always going to have a preference. I personally like how much more visual this platform is. So and that's just my personal preference. I've used NinjaTrader before plenty of times. I found it much more responsive and less error prone than some other platforms that we've used in the past. All right, looks like we got our T1. So T1 is set. Now let's see if we can get a brand new UFO. Boom, right there, 27. Let's move this down to 28. Done. How quick was that? Right? I love it. I have to say, I do appreciate how quick and responsive the platform is to compare to some other ones we've used in the past. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, everybody can have their own opinion. and that's okay. Ultimately, what matters is, is what you're doing. Are you following your plan? Are you following your rules, or are you breaking them? That's what matters the most. And if you're following your rules and your plan, is it giving you that consistency that you want to see? Do you need to maybe make some adjustments? What is the current setup that you have? Okay, so now that we have this, sort of out of the way, I do want to, the reason why I don't want to just switch to it just yet, because the market's going to open in 9 minutes. If this ends up, ripping to the downside, I definitely want to make sure I close it in time, because, it could just end up, hitting to a bottom somewhere around this 50 or 60 area, create a new UFO, and then just, fly back up and test it, and then I won't have time to move my stop. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it, mainly because it is something that you should do, especially when you're exposed to a market open like this, right? You're in a trade, unless it ends up stopping out, which is fairly close to it, but I would not be surprised if it went either way, or if it just kind of sat still for a little bit and then it opened and then it ripped out. Either way. So right now, I just want to see 26, 640, 29, 417. Okay. All right, that's what it was. Okay. Got it. Perfect. Alrighty. So far, still in profit on this trade. The UFO that we moved the stop to ended up actually getting filled. And in my opinion, I think if you were not in this trade, this would have actually worked out. You would have gotten filled on the UFO that just got created right there, which is now gone, right? There was a UFO that was created right here. Price went right up to it, and now it's pushing down again. So if you joined me a little bit late, that would have been another opportunity to get in on this. But right now, it looks like we're heading in the right direction, the expected direction, I should say. Let's just see if a new UFO might form anywhere here so that we can then move our stop into profit. There we go. There's that new UFO, 618, 617. So that means let's just move it down to 17, because our lowest price is according to the 616 there. And that now makes it a guaranteed profit of a trade. In the very extremely rare occurrence that this, when the market opens, this just, massively rallies, we could get slippage on a real account. If not, though, this is, I would say, 99% guaranteed profitable trade, unless we have, like I said, a massive rally and you took this live and it slipped you on the exit with that market trade up there. So, looking fairly good so far. Testing out a couple of green UFOs down below. In the meantime, though, I just wanted to kind of flash this little window again, the market analyzer, which helps us determine. And I clicked on it. Sorry about that. The market analyzer, gives us what the nearest buy and sell UFOs are. And as you see on this 15-minute time frame that we have loaded here, that's the 15-minute UFOs. We see that the nearest sell UFO, and I just want to let this load fully. You see that the nearest UFO is the one right here at 29,640. And even though this is a filled UFO, we should still, respect it and anticipate that there may be some orders there. And given that we're trading a little bit more with aggressive profit taking, the previously used up UFOs being as a target, or at least taking one off if you're trading with multiple contracts, is never a bad idea. All right, brand new UFO. This one's an even bigger one, going all the way up to 627, which is kind of the point where we entered this trade. Okay, now 4 minutes to the open. I'm hoping for another UFO here to show up on any one of the charts so we can move our stop to it, because as you know, with the open comes that additional volatility, which if it goes our way, obviously we're gonna definitely see something forming, and that lets us move our stop. If not, we may be looking at potentially applying the too fast too soon rule, which is essentially it's been um, made easier for you by showing you this information right here. Okay, so we see what the current count is on the current standard deviation, and if this point 0.7 were to exceed this 1.3 number, sorry about that. If this two deviations, meaning if the market was really behaving in a very one directionality type of movement, which again for us it wouldn't be the worst thing here, right? But if it ever exceeded this 1.3 number, where currently is at zero point 0.7, so if this zero point 0.7 were to go to, let's say, 1.4, right? And it was a red 1.4. That means this market fell so fast, so soon, that we should apply our too fast, too soon rule and start taking even more aggressive profit targets before we leave too much money on the table. All right. So that's what I wanted to kind of share with you right there, because again, I am in love with the brand new features. I hope everybody's taking advantage of them. I particularly, really appreciate them, just because it's a lot of the legwork that sometimes, as a new trader, somebody might not have, they couldn't even do because they just don't have the experience with it, is already done for you on the chart. All right, so we got a minute and a half to the open. We're testing some of those red UFOs, which is great. If these hold, we should be seeing a little bit more of a downward movement. If they don't, our stop is in profit. We're going to make some money, not all of it that we had going for us, but again, it's the process that we need to follow. That's the ultimate win. When you're logging your trade, you should be, giving yourself a grade on every trade, and did you execute exactly according to your plan? And there shouldn't be a maybe in between. There should be a yes or a no. If it's a yes, great, you got yourself an A. If it's a no, you got to put the notes. What is it that you did? Was it a mistake? Because listen, mistakes happen, and that's okay, right? If you made a mistake and you say, okay, I made a mistake, yes, I'm going to deduct a point out of my 10, let's call it, or 5, whichever way you want to go. But this was a mistake. This wasn't, ego, or this wasn't arrogance or greed or anything like that. It was just a mistake. I didn't see this in time, made a mistake. That's fine. But if you're trying to modify your plan on the go and you think, well, I saw this big UFO and the market was about to open, so I moved my stop above it just to stay in this trade because I really thought it was going to go down. So much subjectivity in that conversation. It's unreal. Okay, there's so much subjectivity in that conversation that we need to avoid that, and avoid it as like the plague. All right, market is open. We're pushing to the downside. There's a new UFO right there at 99. So we're gonna go ahead and put this at 600. Boom, done. Let's see if we can break some of these lows here to keep it rolling. I'm just gonna click on this just to have it clicked on, and looks like we're gonna reach that T1 at 511. I'm sorry, T2 rather, not T1. Looks like okay, new UFO, same thing, 600. Looking like a T2. Come on, T2. There it is, T2. All right, take that screenshot. Took our T1, T2. YM exit T1 plus T 2022. Oh no. Boom. Right? To see, it happens all the time. It doesn't happen as T2 right here in the sessions. Start happening more as we go along. Uh, right now, we're taking more aggressive profit targets. Okay, so that's something that you need to keep in mind. Um, yeah. All right, so we are ninjas today. We're trading on Ninja Trader. Markets open now. It's moving towards that downward direction, right? If we had multiple contracts, we might be holding on to one right now, all the way down to this 511 area. And I just realized something. Yeah, so I did not move my T2 to 511 because the T2 was supposed to be right here at this 510 area, this first opposing UFO on the large time frame. But I think this just stuck to what the strategy, what the ATM strategy was. So that's on me. See, that's a mistake. That's an honest mistake. That's not something that is, you know, if you didn't do that, then that's great. You're still in this trade. You're moving your stop. You're currently at 562. 511 was actually our between this area. 511, 510 was actually our T2, but that we ended up closing out early. And I didn't close it or anything by market. It was just I thought that was the T2 right there on the down. So let's see if we were to try to manage this according to what's going on, which is right now our stop is at 62 right there. Let's see if this will in fact come to the come to the 510 area, 29 510, to see what the total win would have been, right? So because we have we got in at 29, it was 621 I believe, so minus 29 511, that's 110 ticks on the Dow. Not bad for a few minutes of the day. All right, testing lower than where we closed. Let's see how this will play out. It's about 19 ticks away from where our T2 would have been. All right, 10 ticks away. It's a little confusing here. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Did it touch that? No, it did not quite touch it just yet. All right, it's coming fairly close. We just needed to touch that band right there, and that's that. That would have been a close, and that would have been the ultimate, the correct T2. So congrats everybody if you held on to this to all the way down to the T2 where we had the actual T2. So we're gonna log this, right? I made the mistake of closing it earlier just because that's what happened. That wasn't the plan. That was a mistake, which, as you see, happens. Doesn't matter how many years of trading you have in front of you. But we're gonna log this as a complete T2, mainly because that's exactly what happened, right? Our setup was that we got to go all the way down there, and we did to 29,511, which is right where that band touched. So that would have been a 110 tick. We had 110 tick times $5. It's 550 plus I think it was 21 ticks times $5. So 655 overall win on this trade. So not bad, not a bad start to the new platform. Um, yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here for us. Obviously, the session is not over. uh, let's see. Something here is tricky. Not quite sure. Can't quite put my finger on it, but let's go ahead and go to check out the NASDAQ rip into the upside. Let's take a look at the NQ here. The NASDAQ just ripped to the upside. Holy cow. Was there some news event today that just happened? Because I am not sure. So, not quite. There was durable goods. There was all of that, but that already happened before we even started the session. So, um, interesting. Consumer confidence is coming up. New home sales, 5-year auction. 5-year auction at 3.2%. Yeah, can't beat that. All right, so as we see, the Nasdaq is just ripping to the upside. I mean, it has no um, indication of slowing down. This is just an absolute massive rally here that we're seeing. Um, so looking at the NQ right now, we don't have a confirmed climate. We just simply do not have anything to look at. Now, we've been looking at the equities for quite some time. Let's switch to crude oil and gold to see if we have anything there. Let's take a look at crude oil. It is also unconfirmed. Okay. Let's take a look at gold. All right. Gold also unconfirmed, doing a very similar situation where it's just, you know, heading higher without a confirmation to the climate. So it's essentially breaking the climate. Um, let's take a look at the 6E, which is the euro, to see if we have anything there on the euro. And we also don't have anything on the euro as well. All right, so I guess the bottom line right now is, we need to just kind of be patient and wait for an update to the climates, which will happen in about 5 minutes or so. So that means, take a sip of water, maybe move away from the desk a little bit, whichever option you'd prefer. Um, Either one should work fine. Just want to go back to the Dow to see what exactly, how's it looking so far. Look at that. Touched our T2 and then all the way to the top side. Right? If that's not powerful, if that's not something that you think is, worth your time looking into it, and actually right now, it's still in a, you can execute on the trade right now. It's touching this UFO here at 594. Something that's a little strange though, that we're going to look into is the DOM itself is not showing the exact price here. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but we're gonna have to look into it and see what's going on. And it's just on the Dow, which is very strange. But we'll look into that and figure it out, because right now we see that the Dow is moving in concurrence here on all these charts, and yet not quite here on the DOM. So we'll look into that. We'll figure it out. It might be something on Ninja's side rather than ours. Let's see, what else do we have here? So positions, account. Yep. All right. So far, not a whole bunch here. Oh man, okay, well, it's back to our entry point, folks. Back at that 621, which is interesting to see. But here we are. We have 2 more minutes until an update to the climate, and then we'll be going. We'll be taking another look at the markets. In the meantime, right, if you are interested in it, right here, the Ninja Trader apps are ready. So all you gotta go is to go to tradewithufos.com/apps to subscribe, and you can use the code CLAIM8 right there below on the ticker. That will get you the auto climate for Ninja Trader forever for free. So definitely check that out. Okay. Few more minutes here. Actually, just 1 more minute until we have an update on the climates, and then we're gonna take a look at all of them again and see what's going on across the board here. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the ES. Anticipating a change in climate here, just to see if we can get a proper trade, a long set in front of us, as I suspect we may see a long to be set up here. Okay. Let's see. Let's take. Okay, there we go. It is a confirmed up climate. So we have 3717 being the moving average, which is within that UFO there. This one is falling though. It's going to miss basically the meat of the UFO, the middle, the higher concentration. I think this might be something on my end that we're seeing. That this is still ticking on the YM, so I think that I'm having an issue with Ninja Trader again, because something similar did happen, even though I did a full clean reinstall. All right, so as you see, that fully missed that UFO as well. It's in the middle of this one right now, but again, it's missing most of it, so you could execute on this one. Wouldn't have been a bad trade. I did not like how large that UFO was. That was just not something I was looking to take. And Because remember, when you have a large UFO like that, your T1 is going to be so far away. At that point, it doesn't become a safety target. It becomes um, a target that you just wish for, so to speak. At the same time, I think I'm going to have to refresh my NinjaTrader, mainly because it is, without me being able to look at the this chart here, I won't be able to determine which. I won't be able to determine where my T1, I'm sorry, where my T2 needs to go, or if I have a valid trade or not. So without having this little window here, I cannot execute on the trades that I need to be executing on. So let's see if we go back to the YM here. It also has a confirmed up climate. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and just quickly restart my NinjaTrader and see if that's going to help it real quick. I'll be right back with you guys. Okay. Oh, I just realized I disabled that. Save as. I'm restarting Ninja. Okay, I'm seeing the charts load, and let's go ahead and resume that. So looks like the charts did load. Everything seems to be working fine now. So a quick reboot is all we needed. We may have missed out on an awesome trade here, mainly because, as you see, it touched the EMA again, and actually did not quite touch it on the Dow. Okay. These things happen, and that's what it is. So let's go ahead and switch to the NQ. That is a little strange. Okay, there we go. Switching. This one's still loading. Okay. I wonder if I'm having a prompt here somewhere, but I don't. Yeah, see, it's something's getting hung up just on this chart, so we're gonna have to look into that to see if it's on us or on Ninja. As of right now, though, the NQ, it's looking favorable to get in on this UFO here, and it's actually an execution already on here. But this is, again, these are just massive UFOs. I mean, we're talking 40 points here, close to 40 points here as well, with the stop having to be down below 61. So taking these on the micros maybe would be wouldn't be a bad idea, but taking them um, on the current scenario would be a little overly risky, in my opinion. Um, yeah, because ultimately, what determines your trade setups and what determines your ability to get into some of these trades, it's gonna be connected to the account size that you have and how much you want to risk per trade. So if we were to get in on this at 11,497.15 with the stop at 11,460.75, we're talking 36 and a half, 36 and a half points that we would be risking, which you know is not the most favorable type of an approach. Okay, so unfortunately, yeah, there's this market is falling. Didn't quite touch it to this one yet. You see the moving averages at 1146 right there, 1145. It's moving around. It's going through some of these UFOs, mainly because there seems to be a shift of momentum right now, and ultimately, this is if we were to take this on the micros, I would say, taking it on the micros would not be a bad idea at all. Taking this on the minis, I would, advise against it, mainly because of the risk amount. Now, if that risk amount sits well with you, then by all means, that's okay with you're okay with taking it. Absolutely go for it. Um, but that's where we are right now. Let's see if we have. All right, we're already seeing some, and this is also really powerful on this market analyzer. I'm just going to zoom into it a little bit so you can see it. Um, so the auto climate, direction is given to you here. We're looking at up climates across the board here. Now, when you see a negative number, that means it's already going against the climate, and that's also further verified that there may be a change in climate right here. Okay, so there may be a change in climate. That's why the up and down arrows are kind of visually representing that this is something you need to look out for, that these three are already, trading below the 9 exponential moving average, which is right here near EMA. Okay, so that's something that is, further simplification of information for you when it comes to trading these markets. And the NQ is still, as you see, it has not, touched the moving average just yet. It's still holding on to that area right there. So, given that we have a pause and a potential 10 a.m. reversal, this is looking a little better, but yeah. Okay, now we're having a similar mismatch here. Okay, we're gonna have to look into this to see why it is the way it is, because yeah. Okay, trading below the moving average now and hitting lower. Just gonna take a quick screenshot here because I want to have this for our records, because we may need to do some digging on the back end why there's some of these issues that we're having, because we want to make sure that nobody else has them. All right. So right now, looking like things are just switching um, to unconfirmed climates or trading below moving averages, which is, again, that just means all right. So do we have? Looks like crude oil. Okay, but it's quite far from current price. Let's take a look at gold. and see if we can find something here. Just gonna turn off this chart for now and try to re-plug it in later. See if I can get it to open. Okay, gold at 45 even, and then just gonna see what we got going on here. We don't have the UFOs here, but we do have them on our market analyzer. So for gold, the first opposing UFO to the upside would be at 1650. So if we were to take this trade at 45.8, 43.8, so 43. Okay, so this is a trade. So at 45.8 would be the buy. Our stop is going to be down below at 43.7. And our final target will be at 1650. So let's see if we get a fill on this. And then adjust it. There we go. We got that. 43.6. Now let's go ahead and adjust the profit target. So we got 45.8 minus 43.6. That's 2.2 plus 45.8. We're looking at 48 for our T1. And our T2 is going to be at 50. That's what this one's going to look like. Just going to go ahead and take a quick screenshot of this as well, so we have it logged for ourselves. So 2022, 0927, we have GC setup. Okay, and of course, extremely important, let's go ahead and mark the vertical on the bar we got filled on, so we can keep track of it and go from there. So we got ourselves a couple of trades today. Obviously, the first one was the NQ that we made in error, which is fine. We still got to log it. Mistakes happen. You got to live with them. Then we had a banger of a trade on the Dow where we got T1 and T2 within the session, not even outside of the session. And then this is trade number 3 with gold, where we're long at 45.8, looking for T1 at 48 and T2 at 50. Our stop at 43.6. Okay. We'll see if, there's a very good chance that this is going to, go after the session. So I'm going to log this and I'm going to screenshot this after we're done. But in the meantime, though, we are in this trade. And even though we're at the end of the session here, I hope everybody was able to, follow along with what we're doing here. And if there's any questions or any comments, please feel free to send them to either my email or to support. Either one is fine. Okay, something just happened. As you saw, that was an interesting slide down. Consumer confidence is coming out right now. That might be playing into this added volatility. Obviously, this could go either way. It could go to the up or the downside. I'm looking at my other screen here. It's still not posted yet, but new home sales came better than expected. Okay, this ended up stopping out. So let's take a screenshot of that. Okay, save 2022, 0927, GC exit stop loss. Ended up turning around quite rapidly. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me today, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.